名字大無量三宝天門天少女。At first, we will have Zen meditation for 1 minute. Please put the hands together in Gassho. Number. Thank you very much. Next, Sampai, about 3 times to do that. Next, page 17, Vandana Sarvana. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sammasambuddhassa.
Heart of Pure Perfect Wisdom Sutra.
Bodhisattva when he page 251, 251, golden chain. I am a link in Lord Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are equal to myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that what I do now affects my life and the lives of others. May every link in Lord Buddha's golden chain of love be found bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Next page, 252, pledge. To the Buddha, who promised to be present in his teachings, we pledge our loyalty and devotion. We dedicate our thoughts, words, and deeds to his service and to the way of life he laid down for us. We resolve to follow his example and to have reverence for our religion, respect for our parents and teachers, and love for all forms of life. Next, page 234. 234, photos to shoot. So next, Dharma message by Deacon Jigaku Takenouchi.
Good morning, everyone. Ohayo gozaimasu. So, thank you for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you on Sundays, and I really appreciate that you take time out of your day to spend time with us as well. So, it's already July, and it's pretty crazy that most of the year is already past us. But being July is also a very special time. It's time for Obon. Normally, we would be getting ready for our Obon celebrations here at Taishoji, moving the Yagura and preparing meals to greet all of you for Obon and our Obon dance. So this year, unfortunately, we won't be able to have that, but I still wanted to talk a little bit about Obon and its origins, and also about what Obon means to me. So, have you ever heard of Mokuren? Mokuren was one of Buddha's disciples. He was known for having psychic abilities. So sometimes he would be depicted in blue skin to show his mental abilities. And Mokuren, or Mauliyama, was, like I said, one of Buddha's disciples. But the story of Mokuren has to do with his mother. See, Mokuren's mother had recently passed away, and Mokuren practiced ancestral worship, where he would lay out food, candlelight, incense for his loved ones. And this year, or this first year after his mother's passing, Mokuren wanted to make sure that his mother was okay. So Mokuren ended up using his abilities to open a portal to the world where his mother was living. And what Mokuren saw was that his mother had turned into a hungry ghost. So she was suffering. She didn't look very healthy in that realm, and he saw that the offerings that he had laid down for her were being turned into flame as soon as she tried to consume them. So Mokuren, of course, with his great compassion, was upset that his mother was suffering in her new incarnation. So he rushes to the Buddha, and he asks the Buddha, "Buddha, my mother is suffering. Why?" And Buddha calmly explains to Mokuren that his mother had unfortunately gathered a lot of negative karma or bad karma in her previous life. So, but Buddha, Mokuren continues, we have to somehow assist all beings to ease their suffering. So Buddha tells Mokuren, on the 15th day of the 7th month, July 14th or 15th, all the monks will be done with their 3-month retreat. During that retreat, they're going to be gathering a lot of good karma. At that time, you should lay out offerings for her again. And with all the merit generated from that good karma, some of it will reach your mother and other hungry ghosts, and they will be saved. So the story of Mokuren goes that on the 15th day, Mokuren lays out food for his mother, and with all the other monks, they generated enough good karma to alleviate the suffering of the hungry ghosts. So Obon, we celebrate now, is similar in that we lay out offerings, food, candlelight, and incense, and we chant Kandomon. Kandomon, or Ambrosia Gate, as we call it in English, is a prayer where we invite 5 specific Buddhas to come and assist all the spirits to end their suffering from the realm of the hungry ghosts and continue to their next liberation. So, the first one, Namu Taho Nyorai, on the far right, is a Buddha specifically who's going to assist the ghosts and their greed. The second one, Namu Myoshi Kishin Nyorai, transforms the body of the ghost so that they may be ready to enter the new realm outside of their current body, usually depicted in a ugly, sometimes serpent-like, sometimes it's a emancipated-looking demon with a bloated belly. The third one, Namu Kankro Onyorai, provides the teachings of the Buddha to the ghosts. That way that they can continue learning and continue to free themselves in the next realm, and they can continue to study the Buddha way. The fourth one, Namu Kohakushin Nyorai, assists with those ghosts receiving the karma generated during Kandomon and during Obon time, so that nourishment can reach the ghosts and they can continue on their path to liberation. And the last one, the fifth, Namu Rikui Nyorai, leads them out of the realm of hungry ghosts and into the realm of the Buddhas. So, I think it's interesting that we have these 5 specific Buddhas, and no matter what our loved ones have passed, there is still a way that we can honor them and provide them a means to liberate themselves. So even if they can't reach liberation in this life from the cycle of suffering, we hold the belief that in the next life that there is still a chance for them to be reborn again and be freed from that cycle, no matter where they end up at. But it's also important to realize that if we believe that our loved ones and our deceased relatives and friends can end up in these places, so can we. So for me, Obon is a very special time because it allows me to practice Kizuna. And Kizuna means to strengthen bonds. And those bonds don't end simply just because a life has ended, but I feel like we are always connected even when we're not together anymore. We also practice Fuse. During Obon time, we lay out dishes specifically for our ancestors. We clean our Butsudan, we light candles to guide our loved ones back to the Butsudan so that we may gather together and spend some time together in good company before they go back. So there's the 2 things that are very important to me, Kizuna and Fuse. I still remember my very first Obon dance that I attended, and I was lost. It was a very new experience to me, and I didn't know any of the dances or any of the steps. But I joined in anyways and tried to follow along as best as I could. And I remember turning to the left, and I saw an older lady, and she was wearing a kimono, and she was very beautiful, and her face was very sad. And then I turned to my right, and I see a slightly younger group of people, and they were smiling and joyful and cheerful. And then I was in the middle, completely confused. So the only thing that I remember from that particular moment and that I cherish is that we were all there together, and in some form we were thinking about our past loved ones, and that we would be honoring them together and spending a joyous time with them, and that was very meaningful to me. This year we will not be able to gather together at Taishoji and dance for Obon, but I will have you all in my prayers, and I know that we are connected from my very first dance at Taishoji and from the times that I have spent getting to know everyone, and I will always cherish the memories that we have and will continue to have in the future. So this Obon season, I want you to please, if you can, put your hands together in Gasho and think of your loved ones and convey your feelings and warmest memories to them, because we are always connected and we are always together. Thank you very much.
Next, page 18, Shomyo. this concludes our live stream Taishoji service, Taishoji Sunday service. So thank you very much for watching the video. And so in July, so we decided to have our Sunday school next week too. So July 12, so we will have Taishoji live stream service. And as Deacon Jigaku said, so this year we will not have Obon dance, Obon service, and Toro Nagashi, but we decided to have a live streaming Obon service, and so July 26th to 9 o'clock. So we will have live streaming Obon service, and in the evening we have Toro Nagashi, but only small members. So then we will film, so record the video. The next day, Monday, so we will publish the Obon service and Toro Nagashi video on YouTube page. So if you can, so please watch the video, then pray for our ancestors and your loved ones. So see you next week. Have a great day. Mahalo.